day, everyone. Back with another lesson alvindeleon here on my YouTube channel. And today we're going to be talking about this awesome solo by Heart Alone. Oh yeah, so let's check the stream if it's here. Okay, we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I'll check my lights first. So let's do yeah. So hopefully you're doing great, guys. And let's talk about this solo. Lots of bending and all this beautiful stuff. And also I did my own version. This was used on the Melodic solo challenge that we have, in the community. And I did my. Let me check what I did before. I forgot already. Alright, some runs. Definitely more notes. Okay. Well, not that one. Definitely not that one. We're talking about the original solo. So if you're going to improvise on this one, we're going to be doing an E flat or C sharp minor. So we're going to be talking about that chord. This one, right? So those are the notes that we're going to check. Okay, so E flat minor or D sharp minor. Okay, what are the notes? If you know the scales, again, we can get the chords right. And then I'll teach you one way to easily do this because we're not really used to E flat. I don't know why I did it flat here. I usually go standard tuning, to make it easier. But with this one, I did flat, okay, or sharp, whatever you want. We can do, say, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat. Okay, so we can do those notes, okay, or we can do D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, E sharp, C sharp, B, C sharp, and then D sharp. Right. So we can use either flat or sharps with the key, whatever you want. Okay, as long as with the sharps and flats, as long as you have completed those 7 notes. So, for example, if you're using E flat, you can do this just to give you an idea. Okay, so E flat, then you go F, then you go F sharp. So you see, you have 2 sharps. So that's the only, let's say, rule so that it will not be confusing. You have to complete the letter names. Okay, so that's how we use sharps and flats. So if you start with E flat, okay, F. So the next one must be G, so G flat. And then you can't use again G sharp, okay, because it's gonna be 2 G's. So you have to use A flat. So I hopefully that's clear to you guys when you're naming your notes. So that's the difference between knowing, how to name notes, sharps, and flats. So that's only theory. But in terms of playing on the guitar, one way I can suggest is knowing it by shapes. Well, especially when you're starting out with soloing, this is kind of confusing if you're not used to flats and sharps. Correct? Me too. If I'm not used to it, I'll be all over the fingerboard. Okay, so one way is like, let's say, memorizing your E flat, E minor, E minor, and then you just move that half step down. So that's a good practice. And knowing your shapes and knowing your keys, and then just putting up, down, or up the fingerboard. You know what I mean? So that's a good way, especially for guitar players, to easily move on the fingerboard. But you still need to practice it. Because if not, I know this for a fact, even when I do live and then they change keys, I'm all over the place. I don't know where I'm going. Before, when I was starting out, So it's a good practice to always move your scales. Okay, half step, full step. Example again, that one, if you want, move that the whole step, move the half step, okay, then move back, move the half step up. So do that when you're practicing because it really helps you with your changing keys. Even if you don't know the notes, like every note on the fingerboard. So shapes, okay, especially for the ones who are starting out, use that practice. It's a really good practice. Just moving up and down, half step, full step on the fingerboard. Like with this one, you can look at it like E minor pentatonic, which we are all used to it, right? And move that half step, and then you're already on the first part of this solo. Now, once you get that scale, which is E flat, F, G flat, A flat, we talked about that. You can get the chords as well, right? So in this case, all of those, if we say D sharp, D sharp minor, D, F sharp, C sharp, alright? So we're talking about the flats and sharps. So easy as that. Now, if you think about it in E minor, C, and E only. You just put that half step. If you want to think it that way, it's much easier, especially if you're used to, those chords E. Because guitar players, to be honest, we always use like E, open, D, A, G, C, right? We don't usually use flats and sharps, but it's a must. Let's say you're playing with a band, and then I did this many times, and they're tuning down, they're tuning one and a half step. Some singers are like one whole step tuning down, and then you're standard tuning, and you have a Floyd Rose, and you cannot easily tune your guitar, and then you have to play already. I did that many times already, and then I have to play on my key different from their key because they're tuned down. So if you don't know this stuff, you'll be like, what am I going to do? That's really true, especially when you're a gigging musician, right? So learn how to like really move your keys, okay? As easy as that. If you're playing it in E minor, E, C, G, D, so move it half step, D sharp, D, F sharp, C sharp. Or even if you don't know the notes, just move it half step, okay? So now that we tackled that, all of those chords are inside the E flat or D sharp minor, okay? Now the thing with this solo, it's very melodic. If you change it, like what I did, doesn't really sound correct. Okay, so heart, this alone guitar solo is, let's say it's really known. So if you change it, people will know it. Especially if you do this, like you're doing a cover of this, and you change it. Oh, that's not the solo. I know the solo. Okay, so I can hear it in my head. Okay. So most of the people know that solo really, really well. So we will stick to it. And let's talk about the techniques that you need to work on this one. First one is the bending. Really, really important on this one. If you don't hit those bends, even on the first one, we have those two bends, consecutive bends, right? With two picks also, right? So you're like, okay, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do that also. So it has to be perfect. So always work on your bending if you're really trying to do, soloing. Try to do bending, okay? Practice bending. We have lots of viewers today. We have Maron Parinas, just to say hi to you guys. Mon Robles, Alan Castro. We have Heated 2024. We have James Santos. We have Not Comedic. We have Shadow Blade. Neoclassical. I used to love neoclassical. I used to love, Amy Pong. Like those. I like that. now I'm teaching like all stuff, but I really like that. I miss that. I have a Fender there with a scallop neck. I like doing that stuff. It's really nice, right? Those imams and stuff. But anyway, nice to meet you here. Nice to see you. Skincare reveal. Skincare reveal. Do a lot of gigs and then you don't have enough sleep and then you will have that kind of skin. Okay? Because I went to a gig last night and I think I went home like I took taxi already to be quick, so I think I went home like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you have this energy and you cannot sleep, well. Oh man, so yeah, I'm a gigging musician also. I'm a teacher and gigging musician. After this, live, I will have students. I have 2 students, and then sometimes I do gigs, so that's my life. Well, going back to our lesson, okay, so bending is a must. Okay, if you want to have, you really have to have control with your bend. And this is a really good exercise for you guys. If even parts of this, like that one, it's like that. So we have 2 bends on the 14-second string, 2 bends, then release, and then bend again. And this teaches us like to really memorize the feeling. Okay, I will always teach this to all my students. I also teach online, right? One-on-one. It's the feeling that you have to have that. Okay, full bend is like that. In this case, it's D sharp to E sharp. Okay, or D flat. Sorry, D flat to E flat. Okay, so we have that. And then when you're practicing bending, not only that you have to listen to the notes, you have to really feel it in your fingers, with your fingers, with your hand. You have to feel it how it feels. Why? Because like this one, especially if it's fast, and if you don't know that feeling of full bend, you can go like, or, right? You can go less or over. So not only that you have to listen to that D flat, to E flat, you have to really feel it in your hands, in your picking, whatever, like how the full bend is, how the 1.5 is, and then in the 2 and so on and so forth. You can do it like as much as you want if you have like lighter strings. So just the practice of doing that, I'm telling you, it will give you a advantage. Or when you're doing lots of solos, practice really bending and then really feel how that full bend really feels. No, how that half bend really feels, or 1/4. Okay, not only the sound. The sound is the it's a must. You have to check that, but you really need to feel it because it's fast. When you're doing solo, you don't have that much time to really check everything, right? Practice is when you're doing it slow, right? And that's the time you really need to put everything in detail. Okay, how it goes. It's going to be this full bend. This is the note. This is how I feel with this one. I'm telling you, it's a must. You really need to know how it feels, because if not, you'll be all over the place. So we have that, and then after that, the rest are like this. And I like putting those how do you call pedal point or open string there, muted. That's the note only, right? So when you're soloing and you know the notes already, you can play around with it, right? I can do that. Again, it's only diatonic. When I say diatonic, it's all in the E flat minor or D sharp minor. The notes are, all the same. It's not changing. We don't have like borrowed notes or whatever. And this lesson is not about the notes because I have the tabs already. every time I do the lesson here, it's more about the theory, the techniques, and then how you can, use it on your own playing. So I focus on that because there are so many, okay, tabs or, people doing it already. You can check where they're playing it, but no one's really talking about the theory behind the solos, right? So, and then the techniques and stuff. So I want to focus on that. Anyway, so after doing that, practicing your bending and all this stuff, let's say continue this one. What can we learn with this? Vibrato, yeah, like I like doing this vibrato, and then people will say, "Oh, you don't know the real vibrato, finger vibrato." I mean, you can do it also, and if you know how to use this properly, the tremolo, Floyd Rose, or whatever, you can get away with it, and it's easier than always shaking or always doing this, right? We can do that. I can do this. If you're practicing, practice with all your fingers. Okay, finger, vibrato, right? If it's too much, of course, it's not that. Just a bit. Especially if you're using Floyd Rose or like this the Strandberg Tremolo, it's really, you can go really overboard with it. But just a bit. And it's really good. I mean, it's hard to, especially when you're playing live or recording, it's hard to say if, if they don't see it. It's hard to say if it's finger or this one, if you know really how to use it, right? So, if you don't, if you cannot see me, it's really hard to know if I'm using this one or this one. Or if you know it, still it sounds good, so it's okay. So I'm not that kind of, oh, he doesn't know how to do the finger vibrato, he's always doing tremolo. It doesn't matter. It's all about like expressing ourselves. If you go in that way, very strict. It's about personal expression. So if I like doing it vibrato, then I like doing vibrato. If I'm doing finger, better if you know both, so you can mix it all up. Okay. So that one we have, and then what else we have there? Of course, the use of palm muting. When you're doing solos like this one or other solos, if you don't use palm muting, let's say this one, right? It gives this, right? It gives that character to that solo. It's more like, it's nice to listen to. It's not always like. You make the notes more exciting, or you put more life into it. That's it. You put more life to the notes. If you play like, right? So on the original they have that. So I just copied it, but I really want to stress that out. Putting life to those notes, right? And then I think I didn't put that, but on the tabs, but I just added that. Look, that I put life onto that note. All right, so if it's just like that, I can do this like this, right? Or like that. Just putting those hammers and pulls, also a good way to just make it more interesting than just doing. Be free, it's good to do covers and do it note for note, but it's also good to be expressing it the way you want it. You can even change the notes if you want to, as long as the theme is there. Like I've said, people know this solo, so just adding that, it will not really hurt the whole solo per se, right? So then what else? This one. Okay, so I can say with this one, again, we're going back to positions. Okay, we can play it here, which I did on the tabs. I think I did it on 13th fret, 16th fret on the fourth string, and then I jumped to 14 and 12 on the second string. But you can also do this. And I find it easier, especially if you're doing palm muting on that part. So this is always, I talk about this. Make sure it's when you're doing solos as well. Yeah, you're copying it, but make sure it's easy for you, okay? Now I find this one really far from fourth string jumping, so we have that string skip. Why not doing it like, okay, taking it from the fourth string, third string, and second string there. So I actually did that today. So I did not do what I wrote there, which is also correct, the same notes. I did this. Okay, so it's the same notes, okay, but different positions. All these stick your positions was easy for your fingers. If you don't know yet, I have what we call focal hand dystonia, but you can still see me play because I play how my finger, wants it, works for me. Focal hand dystonia, you can check that. It's a really bad condition, but you can still see me play, and because I know how to work with my fingers. Okay, so I'm still working on it, but just to give you an idea, like it doesn't matter if you have short fingers, doesn't matter if you have long fingers, doesn't matter even if you have this kind of, let's say, it's a disease or something, I don't know what this is, focal hand dystonia, but I can still play because I'm working with what I have. Okay, if you know Django Reinhardt, it's the same. What you have, whatever you have there, practice with it and you can still play music. Okay? I was bashed so many times already. Oh, not using the pinky that much, blah, 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 blah. But what's important is what's inside and how you express yourself through your music, whatever it is. Okay? So, with this one, I mean, 13 and 16, not that far. Also, this is much easier. 13 and 11 on that third string. Okay, so, and again, that palm muting. Alright, and one more thing with this one, using slides and bends. When will you use slides? When will you use bends? That's a common question. Ida Marie Bars Winsdean, hello. And like I have to say there, watching from Saudi Arabia, hello 2024, hello. Very skillful classical, thank you. Okay, so when do you use slide and when do you use bends? Oh, again, depends on where you are on the fingerboard, depends on the song, like this one. Right? We can use both bend or slide. Now, if you're copying the original, we can hear that it slides, okay? But what I'm saying is, position is everything. Like how easy it is for you to execute with the slide or with the bends. In this case, we're coming from here, 14th fret on the, just to give you an idea of how like techniques work also, if you're doing your own solo, what will I use here? Is it going to be bend or is it going to be slide? Because it sounds like almost similar, right? But I'll give you the tip here. So if you have 14, 11 there on the 4th string, 11th string, and then you go to that, even if you use a pinky, 14th fret, 2nd string, then you have to slide down and then bend, no? So it really takes time for you to do that. So the easiest route on this case, and what he did also, is slide, okay? We can do bend as well, but you can see you have that, you have to shift and then you have to bend. So easiest way. Okay. Now, there are differences in terms of how it feels, to be honest. Like when you do bends, and do so, you can do slow bends, right? With the slide, you can also do that slow slide or fast slide, but both are different. I like the bend more, but they have their their part in soloing. So the choices for me is all about like position and shifting. If you don't have much time, maybe slide will work much better than bending. But as much as possible for me, I like the bending because it's very original with the guitar. Bending, like it's more, I can say, expressive in some ways, right? And you can do that. You can do that vibrato on top when you go up. With the bending, you can do it as well. But as you can see, it's fixed. It has their uses, the both of them. But I like bending more. But like I've said, depends on the position, depends on the shifts. If you're shifting from one string to the other, and then or let's say it's far, so it's gonna be hard to bend like doing that, right? Or gonna easier to do to slide. So practice on that. Practice on both. You have to know both every time. You have to know both. You have to know bending. You have to do slides. In this case, like this one, right? All right. But two different techniques: bending and slide. Bending is harder, to be honest with you. So work on your bending. Slide is quite simple. Right, slide. Just doing that, but bending you have to really check your notes. Okay, so that part, and then we have, of course, also part in soloing hammers and pull-ups. Bend. Like that part, if I'm going to play that, see. Very expressive when you do bend. When you do slides, it's different in a way. Both will work, right? I'm just playing the melody, okay? But when I do this, and when you do bends, you also have those rakes. It's really cool when I talked about this many times also, like rakes. It gives that flavor to that note, right? Alright, so again, practice that, practice your bending and your slides, both of them. Now this one, hammer and pull with the slide, and then staccato. I think we have it. Alright, so always work on your legato or your hammers and pulls. Okay, make it clean. With this one, it has a slide as well. That alone is a good exercise. Okay, so chopping it up. Like this technique I need to work on, and then work on it, right? And so on and so forth. So that part, to make it clean. Okay? So that's the solo for today, Heart by Heart. Alone solo, and tomorrow again another solo. I'll be here every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, talking about solos, talking about techniques, talking about theory. With this one is kind of easy theory. Like I've said, if you're having a hard time with notes because it's in flat, just move it half step, or just move it, with your let's say you're used to E minor, just move it. So that's easy. Always learn your scales. Always learn the chords first. Okay, when you're doing solo, don't just go to the tabs and play the notes. Those are my tips every time. Learn the chords first. Why? Because learning the chords, if you know the chords, later on when you go like really, let's say, advanced and creating your own solos, you will understand that the solos really works with the chords, and you follow those chord progression. If you're used to just using tabs and mindlessly, just on the fourth fret, on the third fret, this fret, this fret, this fret, you don't understand anything. But you start with the chords, you already know the relationship between those chords and the scales relationship or relative chords. Then you can easily create your solos when the time comes that you have a band and you need to do your own solos, you need to do your improvisation. Okay? So hopefully you'll be back here tomorrow. Same time, in my time it's like here in Prague, Czech Republic, it's like 2 p.m. here. And then it's always Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for now. If you want to support me, of course, subscribe. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. And I have my Patreon, also free. I give chord, okay, chords and backing tracks there for free. You don't have to pay anything. My Patreon, you can be a free member. There's also a paid member. I give my tabs and my Guitar Pro and backing tracks, in WAV form or quality form. So, but I also have a free one, so you can go there and check it out. I also have a pay store if you want to support me and if you want to buy all my tabs and backing track. Okay, so who else is here? Suda, hello. And I wonder accessories with this one. Just check Performax. It's called Performax. Okay, just put Performax guitar support. It's made in Italy and it's really good. I'm not an endorser of this one, but I've been using this for years already. I don't know if it's available. I want to buy another one, but I think they're out of stock. It's called Performax, and it really helps with the position. It's just a support. You see my strap is loose, but it's on the same position. Now I put the strap so that it will not fall. I don't want to ruin my Strandberg. I really love this guitar. So now I'm also using for my tone, just to give you an idea. This one is a Friedman by Ampero 2 stage. They call it a Fryman. So this is a Fryman amp, and they have really good cabs and amp simulators. And I'm using the IRs also. It's a built-in like IR on the Ampero 2. So many choices. Ampero 2 stage I'm using now. Same thing, I was using Ampero Mini, but now I'm using this one. I like this a lot because of those IRs. You don't know. I spend like checking every IRs. There's a lot, and then everyone is like so good. It changes really the tone. I can hear the difference, and you cannot hear those. For me, I don't like those kind of those hissing sound that you get from digital sound, if you know what I mean. But this one, I don't know, you hear it, it's clear. That's a Fryman. I go to like a Marshall. This is a Marshall. And this is Mesa Boogie. It doesn't sound like digital to me, so it doesn't have that hissing, like a mosquito sounds. Nothing like that. So I really like it. This one is really good, and I haven't really touched everything. So if you want to check it out, Ampero 2 stage, I can really recommend this one. It's really good. This is the best for me so far. I don't have those really expensive ones, but this one for me will work already. And if you have one, I can, I'll be happy to share my tones for you, okay, and then what I use. But you'll see it because just using the IR, it will change everything for you. Just using the IR, their IRs are really good. IRs are like those impulse response. If you have a cabinet or an amp or whatever, just put the IRs. Or you have an amp only, and then you just put the IRs. It changes everything. Okay, so it's combination of everything, miking and so on and so forth. So check that out. It's really cool. even the Ampero mini. But this one is a different level. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again next time. Still have lots of viewers, but I'll see you tomorrow for another lesson, another guitar solo, and rock on, guys. Enjoy and have a great day. Bye bye.